Hey there, it's Jennifer Bertolis, Realtor with Royal LePage Signature. Now, there has been so many real estate headlines in the news that you may have heard that the market has shifted or changed. So let's dive into those numbers to see how the market did in April of 2022. Now, there were 8,008 sales in April. Sales volume was indeed down by 41% in the GTA. However, pricing still remains very strong. If we compare April of 2021, prices were up by 15%, with the average price at $1,254,000. Now, if we take a look back to March of this year, where prices were almost $1.3 million, then month over month, prices have cooled slightly. As long as the interest rates continue to rise, which is rumored to happen yet again on June 1st, we may see less pricing pressure. Now, with over 1.5 months of inventory, sales are evolving and prices pulled back slightly. Once more supply became available, the supply level of homes reached its highest level of months of inventory in the last 13 months. Now, the days on market has moved up slightly now to 11 days when compared to when it was only 8 days on average to sell your home back in March of this year. If you're interested to know how condo sales are doing, the volume began to slow by 35%, while prices still remain solid with a 13% increase year over year. Now, let's talk about some of the other areas that are my favorites and that have had some incredible numbers. Now, prices in Toronto rose 51%, but they were slower than the 905 since 2018. If you can believe this, the 905 area prices have soared by 88% since 2018. Now, to put the news headlines of a shift into perspective, when we look at Mississauga detached homes, they actually increased just over $12,000 month over month. So not the crazy double digits like we had seen in the beginning of the year, but a good news story for homeowners in Mississauga. Now let's talk about Brampton, which has seen a pretty significant increase in the supply with almost 2 months of inventory, which is getting closer to a more balanced market. The prices for semis have also declined by 10% since March. The semi market may start to see a bit more downward pressure on prices as throughout the months, the prices jumped up way too quickly, but still a great time to sell. And for buyers for semis in Brampton, you may start to see some opportunities here as inventory increases. Now, you may find it interesting to know what price point and what home type had the most sales in April of 2022. Now, if you guessed detached homes, then you got it. Now, the price point that was interesting was between the $1.25 million to $1.499 million mark. Also, which was a close second, was there were 712 sales in the detached homes over $2 million. So when people are still purchasing luxury real estate, that means that there's still confidence in the market. You may also be curious to know that the region that saw 38% of the sales that April had was in fact the city of Toronto. This is also a great sign that people are moving back towards the city. On a note as a whole, despite the slower sales in market conditions, the market still remains tight in some areas. Moving forward, it will be definitely interesting to see how the Bank of Canada's goals of slowing consumer spending will play out, but there is still so much buyer's demand to support a lot of price growth, but relative to what we saw last year, but the annual pace of the growth will be a little bit more moderate in the coming months. Now, I hope that this clarified some of those news headlines for you. And if you are thinking of buying or selling real estate, feel free to call or email me at jenbortoles@royallepage.ca. Have an awesome day.